What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. We all know Tuesday afternoon was a huge day in the world of professional wrestling. SmackDown Live took place last night in Jacksonville, Florida. If you want my thoughts on that, you guys can certainly go to the podcast that I recorded last night and get my thoughts on everything that happened last night with SmackDown Live. But just mere minutes away from where SmackDown Live was, All Elite Wrestling had their press conference, their fan rally, and we found out more information about the upcoming promotion from Cody Rhodes and the Young Bucks. All Elite Wrestling had a big fan rally on Tuesday afternoon in Jacksonville, Florida, where several announcements were made. Now, they made mention to the men's and women's divisions. We found out Double or Nothing is a sequel to All In, taking place May 25th in Las Vegas at the MGM Grand Arena. Details on that, I am sure, are coming in the coming weeks. Conrad Thompson already came out on Twitter and said that there will be a StarCast 2. I'm not sure what that entails, but there's already travel packages available for that. But I am making my plans to coincide with being there in Las Vegas. Like I said, details to come on StarCast and what is going on concerning me as well. So keep an eye and an ear out for that. Now, before we got to the fan rally, I was hearing rumors all day. My phone was going crazy from people that I know that know people, about what was going on. I had fans legitimately there who watched the podcast, taking pictures for me and updating me as the night went on. But all through the day, I heard rumors of PAC, a.k.a. Neville, and CM Punk being there in Jacksonville, Florida. One I believed was going to happen in PAC. CM Punk's name has been tossed around with literally everything having to do with WWE, having to do with All In, having to do with the communication that he's had with the Young Bucks and Cody Rhodes. It would be amazing if he came back, but I'm going to say right here, right now, I'm not even thinking about CM Punk and All Elite Wrestling. If they get CM Punk, my God, is the internet going to fucking explode. And that would be the biggest fuck you to Vince McMahon. But PAC, I definitely had a inkling of a feeling that he was going to be associated with All Elite Wrestling. Another name that I heard a lot about yesterday was Kenny Omega. Now, Kenny Omega at the end of this thing did not show face. He was not there, I don't believe, in Jacksonville, Florida. And I don't think he was able to be there because of his contract ending on January 31st. So for everybody wondering what Kenny Omega's next move is going to be, is he going to join his friends in All Elite Wrestling? Is he going to the WWE? I hear some idiots saying, oh, he's going to show up in the Royal Rumble. No, that's not going to happen. I don't think he's going to accept WWE's offer, because if you watched Monday Night Raw this past week, why the fuck would anybody accept an offer from WWE? It makes no sense to me. So, come February 1st, and if you guys have been watching Being the Elite, there were teasers about where Kenny's going. More than likely, he's probably going to end up in All Elite Wrestling. But I'm 50-50 split on what Kenny Omega is doing. Now, we'll talk about more Kenny Omega on Off the Script, episode 256, this coming weekend. But I am going to say this right here. If Kenny Omega is joining All Elite Wrestling, I do not blame him. And just from an outsider's perspective looking in, Kenny Omega really doesn't need WWE's dirty money. Because I'm sure he's going to be very well compensated with the Khan family joining All Elite Wrestling. And just by looking at the type of guy Kenny Omega is verbally when he speaks, and through his professionalism and his in-ring work, Kenny Omega is more of a guy that cares more about the art of wrestling and his creativity and his freedom than anything else. And to put a price tag on that, Kenny Omega is saying, no, there's not any amount of money in this world, Mr. McMahon, that you can throw me that I'm going to just willingly come on in to Stamford, Connecticut and open myself up to you in that manner. I don't want to jeopardize everything that I worked for because I don't believe you're going to take what I've already built and care for it like everybody else has. They don't work that way. Kenny Omega cares more about the art of professional wrestling more so than anything else. And if he signs with All Elite Wrestling, that's the reason why. On top of that, I don't see, again, I'm gonna reiterate this again, I don't see anybody wanting to go to WWE. Otherwise, Chris Jericho would have gone back to WWE instead of signing with All Elite Wrestling last night. So that's that. But as far as those names go, we got PAC joining All Elite Wrestling. The other big name is Chris Jericho, like I mentioned. Now, people were blasting Chris Jericho on social media. People were claiming that he is a turncoat. WWE, there's news on Chris Jericho all over the place today. Chris Jericho actually was recently in talks with WWE, and everybody was wondering what he's going to do because we all know that he's not really done with New Japan, and he called out Hiroshi Tanahashi and would love to have an IWGP Heavyweight Championship match against Tanahashi. Some people are even saying that that might be the main event for the G1 Supercard at Madison Square Garden, and if New Japan wants to explore that option, that's not a bad main event to have for your first show at Madison Square Garden. So we have to wait and see what happens with Jericho and his contract with All Elite Wrestling. Maybe it's a contract that he signed last night that's going to allow him to work on May 25th at Double or Nothing. That is going to be his first event for All Elite Wrestling. And maybe the contract allows him to work or continue to work with New Japan, because I know that Jericho wants to continue working with New Japan. Now, apparently WWE wants nothing to do with Chris Jericho. He was actually recently in talks with WWE right before New Japan had Wrestle Kingdom 13. Jericho signed his AEW contract yesterday at the Rally. It appears, however, the former WWE champion's decision was a recent one. Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer radio show reports that Jericho had talks with WWE recently as of a few weeks ago. Now he is inked a deal with the Khan family's funded promotion and says he is in it for the quote-unquote long haul. He also took a shot at Vince McMahon and the WWE, saying that they're not looking to change the world. They are looking forward to changing the universe in AEW. Jericho, one of the most successful wrestlers of all time, certainly isn't in this for the money. He said it yesterday. I don't need the money. I just want to make a difference. He wants to help the professional wrestling industry grow even more, and that's exactly what AEW has the opportunity to do and make happen. In response to signing with AEW, Jericho was removed from the alumni section of their roster page on WWE.com. All references of Y2J were removed. Merchandise was removed from WWE shop as it concerns Chris Jericho. And Jericho was removed from the opening of Raw and SmackDown on Monday and Tuesday night and replaced with Cesaro. So WWE acting like a jaded lover and very petty by WWE. That's pretty much telling them, go fuck yourself. We want nothing to do with you anymore. And that's quite a shameful act by WWE. I don't really understand the nature of their immaturity. Because if WWE wants to realize what's going on in the professional wrestling landscape, this is all they're doing. This is all WWE's fault. I mentioned this on Off the Script. When Vince McMahon wants to know what the fuck is going on, why is everybody unhappy, what's going on with WWE, why is everybody taking an interest more in AEW than WWE, look yourself in the fucking mirror and realize that the man staring back at you is the one to blame for everything. Because you don't realize everything that's going on around you. You only want to do what your feeble mind tells you to do. Maybe if you treated your fucking talent better, none of this would happen. And if Jericho thought that WWE could make a difference in 2019, he and everybody else, Omega and Punk and everybody else, PAC, would be in WWE. That apparently is not the case. If the Young Bucks thought the WWE could make them better, if the Young Bucks thought the WWE was going to change the world and do what they had envisioned, then they'd be there too. Clearly, nobody believes in WWE in 2019, and most of their talent probably doesn't even believe in WWE right now. They're only being paid a handsome amount of money to keep their fucking mouth shut. I'd love to know what everybody else is thinking about All Elite Wrestling. WWE is to blame here. Now, moving on with the rest of the roster, AEW made announcements last night that MJF, Maxwell Jacob Friedman, formerly of MLW, he was working out of the Major League Wrestling promotion, MLW, MJF, he is joining All Elite Wrestling. We got Cody Rhodes, the Young Bucks, Matt and Nick Jackson. They are chief executive, officers of the company, but they will also be as part of the talent roster. Hangman Page, he is official. All four of those men we know are official. They made the official announcement on January 1st about All Elite Wrestling. They were featured in the Being the Elite episode. Brandy Rhodes, the chief branding officer. She is going to be in charge of that. That is her role. Brandy Rhodes is also an active female competitor on AEW's women's roster. Britt Baker, Adam Cole's girlfriend. Britt Baker was actually the first female signee of All Elite Wrestling. She said that this is one of her biggest moments in her entire life, outside of doing her personal thing, being a dentist. This is one of the biggest moments of her career. This was a no-brainer. And she actually dropped a bombshell announcement that All Elite Wrestling is going to be paying their men and women equally. Now, a lot of people took this out of context, but this is a bombshell announcement nonetheless. What I think this means is Britt Baker and everybody else that comes on in that they try to get. Penelope Ford is another female that they signed along with Joey Janela. I'll talk about that in a second. But Britt Baker and Penelope Ford right now, along with Brandy Rhodes, are the only three female competitors listed on AEW's roster. That does not mean that Britt Baker is going to go on into AEW and make just as much money as a PAC or a Chris Jericho or anybody else, or Kenny Omega if they get him on board. That doesn't mean that Britt Baker is going to be making the amount of money that those individuals are making. What I think is, if you're a difference maker and you really, live up to the moniker of changing the world, if you are going to get to the level of that stature in the company, then there is a possibility of you making just as much money as your male counterparts. I think it's something that's a work in progress right now. I think that is their long-term goal, to get the women on an equal pay scale for AEW with the men. But I don't think right out of the gate you're going to see Britt Baker making as much money as a Chris Jericho coming on in for AEW's talent contracts. That's just ridiculous. Now, this is an interesting situation simply because of what is going on with AEW. They're offering this opportunity to their female talent. We know a lot of female talent in WWE are disgruntled. They are unhappy. They are underutilized. They want to wrestle, and they're vastly underpaid. So what this does is two things. One, the women in WWE now who are not being used, who feel like they're being held down because of some sort of political fucking agenda, the simple fact that WWE has absolutely no plans for them and doesn't factor them into any future plans, this is an out. When your contract is up, you have a place to work and go and feel like you're wanted. Number two, the underpaid women in WWE, and most of them are underpaid, especially when you compare them to the men, they're going to come on in. Imagine a Sasha Banks comes on into AEW and she's disgruntled enough with WWE to not re-sign after her current deal is up. If she goes over to AEW, women like Sasha Banks, Bayley, anybody like that, or Charlotte Flair, Becky Lynch, etc., 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 a Tessa Blanchard in Impact Wrestling, women like that have the opportunity to just walk on into AEW and make just as much, if not more, than the men, because of their status in this business and what they bring to the table as far as the company goes. That is what it means. And that is huge. That is huge. The only woman right now that's making just as much as the men in WWE, more than likely, is Ronda Rousey. just because of her name recognition. Sasha Banks ain't making as much as the guys. Bayley ain't making as much as the guys. Ember Moon, Ruby Riott, so on and so forth. So this is an unbelievable situation that a lot of people really aren't talking about, because what this is going to do, it's going to put pressure on WWE, and it's going to have them alter their pay scale just to simply keep that talent employed by WWE. So All Elite Wrestling not only is going to be for the fans, but it's offering talent from all over the world a true alternative. There is no better time since the death of WCW to be in the wrestling business, whether you're a fan or an active performer, man. This is going to be huge. Moving on with the roster, SCU, they were in the Being the Elite episode. Christopher Daniels, Scorpio Sky, Frankie Kazarian, they are all confirmed for AEW. PAC showed up in wrestling gear. The fucking guy showed up in wrestling gear and confronted Hangman Page over being the first ever All Elite Wrestling World Heavyweight Champion. This is a huge get. Fuck WWE for passing on this guy and treating him wrong, not seeing the true talent that this guy possessed. This guy was one of the most wanted free agents in the business, and WWE's loss is now All Elite Wrestling's gain. WWE has nobody to blame but themselves for that loss. I look forward to seeing him in dream matches with several in AEW. Maxwell Jacob Friedman, MJF, he's there. Now, we got an announcement by Matt Jackson. They, the Young Bucks, especially Matt, vouched for OWE in China. He says that these are some of the best athletes that you will see in the world. Some of their movesets have blown him away. Some of the greatest shit that he personally has ever seen. He described it as a Circus de Olay for professional wrestling. What these guys do is absolutely amazing. He loves what they do, and he feels like the All Elite Wrestling fans are going to enjoy it just as much as he does. OWE has a working relationship with China, from China, with All Elite Wrestling, and they are bringing in the good hearts from OWE. Joey Janela, who's out with an injury right now, he was actually at the first All-In in Chicago. He went one-on-one with Hangman Page in a Chicago street fight. He and his girlfriend, Penelope Ford, are All Elite. And then obviously the big name last night that closed the entire press conference was Chris Jericho. This is a very, very good start to All Elite Wrestling's roster, with more names to come sooner rather than later. Now, the Double or Nothing show is going to be a live event in Las Vegas, May 25th. That entire weekend is going to be dedicated to All Elite Wrestling. There is going to be a Starrcast too, and that's going to take place from the 23rd of May through the 25th of May at the MGM Grand Arena. The event is being held at the MGM Grand Arena. I don't know where the Starrcast is going to be held, but more information on that to come. I am making plans right now to attend the show and attend Starrcast, so we'll see what happens with that, and I will keep you guys updated on that. Meet and greets and all that fun stuff, getting drunk on the Vegas Strip with a nice six-pack of Guinness. All that's coming. I can't wait to hang out with you guys in Las Vegas. Now, the one thing that I want to talk about before we get the hell out of here is the fan reaction to all of this All Elite Wrestling stuff. Like, I really don't understand the community in and around the YWC. Now, a lot of people with the announcement of All Elite Wrestling, a lot of people, more than I actually anticipated, are deeming this a failure already and wanting this to fail already. Like, I don't understand why people are coming out wanting Cody and the Young Bucks to fail in this endeavor. This is a huge deal, not only for the world of professional wrestling, but for fans and content creators alike. Do you understand what you're watching on Monday and Tuesday night? Tuesday better than Monday. I'm not even going to put SmackDown Live into this boat. They are hit or miss. Sometimes they're a miss, a big miss. Sometimes they're a nice double off the fucking Green Monster, okay? But Monday Night Raw is an absolute fucking catastrophic disaster. I don't know how anyone can watch this show and A, want any of this talent to go to Monday Night Raw, B, I don't see how you could say anything positive about Monday Night Raw and then trash All Elite Wrestling. People are claiming this is going to be another WCW or another TNA. It's going to be another TNA under the Hogan-Bischoff regime. It's going to be another WCW under the Time Warner fucking collapse and them not wanting wrestling anymore. I don't understand the logic here. You do realize that this is going to be great for everybody. It's going to be great for pro wrestling because it offers a true alternative to what is going on with WWE right now. If WWE was so good, then All Elite Wrestling wouldn't even be a thing. Cody Rhodes would still be employed. They let him walk. The WWE would have the Young Bucks. They would have Kenny Omega in the palm of their fucking hands. And they don't. They don't. And I mentioned this on Off the Script. Imagine if WWE treated Cody Rhodes with the respect and legacy his family garnered in this industry from the beginning. Imagine. They let him do what he wanted to do. They wanted him in fucking face paint dressed up as Stardust. He didn't want that. So he left. They granted him his release. That was one of the worst decisions in the last 20 years that WWE has ever gone through and done. I don't understand why everybody wants these guys to fail already. If they were so good, the WWE, then none of this would have even come to fruition. You know, Jericho, another one I just mentioned. If Jericho thought that the WWE could have an impact in 2019, he would be in WWE. He would be at WrestleMania getting ready to have a program with somebody at WrestleMania. He don't give a shit. He don't give a shit. And you don't think the wrestling world and the wrestling community between all these brands are close-knit? You don't think everybody knows everybody, or you don't think people whisper to other promotions, friends in other promotions? You know how many people in WWE are probably unhappy with what they're doing and they tell close personal friends how unhappy they are? One bad fucking word of mouth complaint is going to spread like wildfire. If someone in WWE truly reveals what is going on and how unhappy they are, why the fuck would anybody want to come on in for the money, simply for the money, and ruin everything that they've worked so hard for to be wasted by people who don't appreciate wrestling in general? I don't understand this shit. And then the fans, like I said, want this shit to fail. People are citing, well, how come everybody is promoting All Elite Wrestling? How come you're promoting a company that isn't even started up yet with their first show, that doesn't even have a half a roster assembled yet, with no TV deal? Why is everybody hyping this shit up, but you're not promoting or watching a Lucha Underground, or an MLW, or an Impact Wrestling, or a Ring of Honor, or a New Japan? Motherfucker, who says I don't watch Lucha Underground? Or because I don't cover Lucha Underground on my YouTube channel doesn't mean I don't watch Lucha Underground. I watched Impact's Homecoming, and I watched Impact's last couple of pay-per-view, Slammiversary. I was actually at Bound for Glory. I had nothing but good things to say about both shows. Homecoming was a very good show as well. I didn't know that I have to watch and then talk and promote other organizations. Now, what these goons and these fucking simpletons, these clowns, don't understand is that no matter what me or anybody else does or says in regards to a Lucha Underground or an MLW or an Impact Wrestling, it's not our fault that those companies have no traction whatsoever. Don't you think those companies want to work with All Elite Wrestling? As soon as the Khan family put their name to the company, every other fucking promotion came out of the woodwork wanting to work with the Khan family because they are the only fucking thing right now outside of WWE that has the money, the resources, and the power in television to get a TV deal. And these other companies want to work with All Elite Wrestling just so that, A, their companies get exposure and their wrestlers have a platform to work on. Because if these people that All Elite Wrestling is signing, if All Elite Wrestling is looking at roster members from Impact and Ring of Honor and Lucha Underground and MLW, if those promotions were making so much fucking money, right, to pay their talent, don't you think the talent would stay there and not complain about anything? Those companies make no money whatsoever. They don't have lucrative television deals to pay their talent. You think Impact Wrestling working on Pursuit Channel is paying their fucking roster handsomely? Those, I guarantee you, Everybody from Callahan to Morrison to Jordan Grace to Tessa Blanchard, Brian Cage, and everybody in between, Pentagon, Phoenix, LAX, I guarantee you they're making fucking pennies. This is why all these other companies are allowing their talent to work with All Elite Wrestling, because in doing so, the talent's going to work for the Khan family and the Bucks and Cody Rhodes, and in turn, they're going to promote those other promotions. Those promotions want to do business with All Elite Wrestling because they have no choice. Everything else as far as resources and finances and television deals is barely anything to get them off the ground. There's no exposure for Impact Wrestling, no matter how many elitists come out and cite, well, JD's a fucking asshole. He's promoting All Elite Wrestling but doesn't give Impact Wrestling a look. No one's giving Impact Wrestling a look because they have no eyes on the product. None. And if you think a move to fucking Twitch is going to do anything, you are sadly mistaken, you fucking fat slob. Give me a break. Give me a break. Not only is it good for the industry and everybody in the industry that is a fucking professional wrestler, it's good for content creators too, because you think we're going to survive on WWE only? You know how many people are losing interest in WWE by the week? They're alienating their fucking audience. They're losing viewership by the week. I mean, just last night, they had people come over from the fucking rally who had SmackDown Live tickets. They had people come over from the rally who wanted to genuinely attend and buy tickets there to go to SmackDown Live. All these people were wearing All Elite merchandise. WWE said, you're not allowed in the building because you're wearing All Elite Wrestling merchandise. Security guards were telling them that a direct order came from Vince McMahon not to let anyone wearing AEW merchandise in the building. A, that's fucked up. B, nice way to alienate your fucking audience and pretty much tell them that you're a fucking pussy. Number 3, that's a big lawsuit waiting. Because if I'm not allowed in a fucking building after I paid my hard-earned money for your shit show, all because of the shirt I'm wearing, you can guarantee Vince McMahon's getting a nice little fucking letter in the mail. That is ridiculous. That is absolutely ridiculous. Freedom of speech means nothing to these fucking people. Oh, you can't be allowed in the building because you're wearing AEW merchandise. We can't have that on television. Whose fault is that? Whose fault is that? Then I got people asking me on social media, can you really believe a story like that? This is the same company that fired Jimmy fucking Jacobs, an employee on their payroll. They fired him because he took a picture with the Young Bucks and Cody Rhodes last time they tried a stunt like this. Now, he was a fucking idiot for posting it on Instagram, but they fired him anyway. So if you don't think they do that to a fucking poor, innocent fucking nobody fan, you're a fucking idiot. This is great for everyone. Content creators, fans, performers. Give me a fucking break, man. If WWE isn't your cup of tea, then All Elite Wrestling is going to be a go-to for you, and you're going to be making the same amount of money. Contracts have already been reported that they're comparable to what WWE is going to be offering everybody. You have alternatives. Ring of Honor, New Japan. It's just not WWE anymore. It's just not WWE anymore. These other promotions don't have any traction whatsoever. You should be looking at All Elite Wrestling as a fucking godsend for your industry, for your fucking fandom of an Impact or a Ring of Honor or a Lucha Underground or an MLW or CZW, PWG, whatever the fuck you're watching nowadays. Because every single fucking talent that you watch and appreciate and respect and you want to see advance career-wise, you want to see them go die 1,000 deaths in WWE? Or do you want to see them actually make the amount of money that they are worth for a fucking promotion that's going to give a shit about them? Impact should be fucking begging All Elite Wrestling to work with them. Because they have nothing going on for them. They got no fucking eyes on their product. Why aren't we promoting Impact Wrestling? Because I can't fucking watch Impact Wrestling. I don't get Pursuit Channel. And even if I did, I still wouldn't watch it. Look at the fucking time slot you're on. Fuck out of here. Everybody involved in this is going to be making bank. Everybody involved in this is going to be making a name for themselves. This is great for everyone involved. So for you to come on out and say, I want this to fail, fuck AEW, fuck JD for promoting AEW. I had someone on Twitter blast me I screenshotted his fucking comment because it's definitely going to the next hate mail. These people legitimately think that I'm talking about AEW means that I'm a consultant or an analyst or some type of fucking roster member of AEW. How come I don't talk about Impact? Motherfucker, the fuck is wrong with you? Are you that fucking stupid? I had one idiot last night telling me that AEW is nothing but a work. It will fail, or it's doomed to fail. There's no TV deal involved. What a work? What is this, a fucking storyline angle just for shits and giggles because Cody and the Young Bucks are bored? They're backed by a $7.4 billion family that has fucking power more so than anyone in this fucking lifetime. A work. Are you fucking kidding me? Man, the people that, the rest, I'll say it once, and I'll say it again. The wrestling fan, the casual wrestling fan, the generic wrestling fan who does not know shit is the dumbest fucking idiot walking this planet. And more than likely, if you agree with nothing I say, you're one of them. More than likely, if you're a fan of Impact Wrestling or one of these elitists that fucking hates the fact that I don't cover your promotion, but I'm covering AEW every week, you're a fucking idiot. More than likely. I don't cover Impact Wrestling. Blow me. I don't cover Impact Wrestling. You want me to cover Impact Wrestling? Why don't you come to a House of Glory show where I'll give you Impact better than Josh Matthews? You fucking clown. I'm getting out of here, man. Thank you so very much for everything. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that thumbs up. And more All Elite Wrestling content coming on Off the Script, episode 256, part number 1 this weekend. More news on Jericho, more news on what they got planned, more statements from Tony Khan, more news on Kenny Omega and what he is planning to do. All that plus so much more on Off the Script this weekend. See you guys tonight for NXT, EC3 versus Adam Cole, and a rematch between Bianca Belair and Nikki Cross. Man, I'll see you guys tonight. And I will see you guys later for NXT.